As does everybody see Ben Parr? And we'll see many versions of Ben Parr.
Wait. Oh, I'm in space. Give me a second. I gotta get out of space. Somehow I'm in a pub. Let's see if I can get out of this one. I'm in a box. I gotta think outside of the box. This class, let's go back to the classroom because that's what we're doing today.
Got it. Does anybody, quick bonus prize, anybody know what what Ben is using to create that? You want to tell him?
I will. So it is a piece of software called I know that's actually the name. Yep. HMMHMM. That's actually what it's called. It's founded by a friend of Robin and mine, Phil Libin, the founder of Evernote. And this thing is amazing. It allows you not just to do like here cool background images, but I could just suddenly make my presentation appear. And not just that, I can just like take over the screen and everything. So you will see all sorts of cool things in a second, but you're getting the idea here. So I guess what I'm going to dive into for everyone is what is happening. What the hell is happening in AI? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about like the overall broad strokes. So of what's happening. And so I'll start a little bit with, I was at a little story. So I was at a panel yesterday. And on the panel, here, I'm going to actually sit in a desk. There we go. So I was at a panel yesterday, and it kind of looked like this. I, of course, used Midjourney to create this specific image. You have to figure out which images are real and which are not. This is a whole game that I play with everyone. And the conversation was supposed to be a little bit about the future of AI, and it really became very much about the risks of AI. And it was very fascinating because I had just been a little bit beforehand at another event, what happened in San Francisco, where over the course of just a week, someone from a company called Hugging Face, which is a big company in the AI space, announced that they were going to just do a meetup. And the meetup became 5,000 people in San Francisco. All the developers are all excited about all the cool things that you could build in AI. It felt like San Francisco Bay Area tech 2008, 2009, when social media was first just becoming a thing, and there was all sorts of energy, all sorts of cool stuff. And so, it's kind of like a tale of like what's happening in the AI space. And so before going into that, hi, I'm Ben, everyone. This is me on stage with a couple of AI companies and a couple big VCs. I am the president and co-founder of a company called Octane AI, to power AI for the world of e-commerce. I'm probably better known as the former co-editor and editor at large of Mashable, the tech news website. Longtime friends with Robin and many others here. And I have a couple of new things coming. I will send more. I'm announcing a new course where I am teaching people how to build an AI native company called on Maven. I'll drop a link in the chat in a second. And I also have a newsletter called the AI Analyst where I talk about, guess what? AI. I also, as Robin has pointed out, have a column in The Information where I talk about AI. My column yesterday was about AI and jobs, which I will talk about for a little bit in a second. And so I'm going to go really quickly. I just wanted, before getting into it, just rewind the clock because everyone just take a second to think. This all happened in less than 6 months. 6 months ago was when ChatGPT became a thing. Like, think about how quickly the world, everything, all your conversations changed in half a year. ChatGPT, December 2020. I remember when I first saw it, and I made a TikTok about it and how it could change education. That got 1.5 million views. And I had a lot of predictions as soon as people saw it. And I think they were right. It was the biggest and most important news story of 22. And it's becoming the most important news story of 2023 and its impact across society, because everyone's already started figuring out ways to use it to speed up writing essays, to write first drafts of emails, to do just about everything you could possibly imagine. But also in the last 6 months, a lot of people would talk about the risks. There was a famous letter that came out from a bunch of researchers and a bunch of people who had a bias against OpenAI, to be honest, to ask for a pause to AI experimentation after GPT-4 came out. Because you got to remember, when first ChatGPT came out, it was GPT-3, which was still pretty amazing. And then GPT-4 came out and everyone was like, holy crap, it's that good. It can do all sorts of things. I will talk also about what things it can't do. But it was a big revolutionary moment. And then there's been a whole back and forth of movement of like some people being like AI will doom us all, others being like AI will bring us, to utopia. The conversation has shifted so quickly in the last 6 months of AI. I'm just like, is it going to be our doom or savior? And I'm just trying to paint a picture for you all of how quickly the conversation has been changing and evolving and how quickly it is changing and evolving. But and this is Sam Altman just recently at Congress, talking about AI and regulation. And so what I really want to do now is first say, like, if anyone tells you exactly what they think is going to happen, they don't really know because everything's changing so quickly. But I'm going to try my best to give you a little bit of view into what I think is going to be happening next over the next, let's say, year, and what's going to be happening longer term so that you can start preparing yourself. And I'm also here, of course, to answer questions about anything across AI. I've been doing this since 2016. So I've been in AI for what feels like a very long time, especially considering what's been happening in the space. So where are things going next? What's been happening? ChatGPT came out. You have these tools that help you do writing and do image generation really, really well. They've been advancing really quickly. The biggest next stage that I'm seeing is something called autonomous agents. My co-founder, Matt Schlicht, actually wrote this detailed guide, which I'll drop, on autonomous agents. What are they? It's essentially ChatGPT, but self-directed. So instead of having to type all the things you want it to do, you give it one command. It might be something like, build me a video game on a website, and I want it to have these 6 things. It will create a new prompt for itself. It'll keep on prompting itself until it's completed its tasks. That sounds crazy and sounds sci-fi, but it exists right now. There are 2 major tools out there that help you do this. One is called Baby GPT, and one is called Auto GPT, or Baby AGI is the first one, and the other one's called Auto GPT. And they're not tools yet that the general public could use, but you're going to start seeing them integrated into all sorts of tools. We're using some of that technology at Octane, in fact, for something we call the Insights Analyst. And so this is actually an example of how the Insights Analyst works. It basically looks through all of our customers' reviews, like if they have 100,000 product reviews, it will literally, write, copy, it'll go and analyze them. It'll self-direct itself to figure out, more solutions and, find answers to your questions. And this is kind of the direction you're going to see AI go. You're going to see these kinds of interfaces where it shows you how the AI is thinking, because the AI is sort of starting to think. It's not yet conscious. We're not getting anywhere near that yet, but it's getting really, really powerful. And I think one message I want to make to everyone is, if you're not like already really using AI every day, like I think like you need to be using ChatGPT every single day for something to just get in the habit of it. Because if you're not, you are going to be left behind. And so this is actually honestly what my company has been moving towards, focusing on deploying AI agents for the world of direct-to-consumer brands. But you're going to see this across, I think, a lot of other verticals. AI, instead of hiring a person, you're going to be hiring an AI agent for specific tasks. I really firmly believe that. And that's not a 5 years from now. That is in the next year sort of thing that's going to be happening. Now, there's consequences to that. Consequences like what's going to happen with regulation and jobs. So one thing I also expect to happen in the next year or two is the creation of a US agency just dedicated to AI regulation. I think, Sam Altman proposed this, but it was proposed by the billionaire Chamath, the founder of Social Capital, a couple weeks ago on the information. And senators have definitely been embracing it. I've been having a back and forth with a member of Congress about this. It's definitely going to happen. And there's definitely going to be another thing, which is it's definitely going to impact jobs. So this was my column from earlier this week in the information, where I make the argument that it's really clear now that AI will destroy jobs. So in the past, AI has, and I'm not trying to completely scare you, but I'm trying to scare you a little bit. In the past, other technologies have created just as many jobs as has been replaced. This is different. It's different because of the speed at which things are happening. It usually takes a longer period of time to create new jobs. And this is the first time we've had a technology, perhaps ever, that could replace knowledge work. It is really happening rapidly. And in fact, IBM earlier this month said that they would replace 30% of back-end jobs with AI over the next 5 years. And honestly, I don't think it will even take 5 years. People aren't going to fire, like companies are not going to fire people and replace it with AI, but they're not going to rehire people in the same way. And we're going to see that ripple across the economy over the next like year, 2 years, 3 years. So my message here is that the people who will figure out AI first will be the ones that have the jobs. And like you're here now is a good first step, or second step is to figure out how to integrate AI into the workflows that you do, into the things that you do, and be on top of it so that you're not surprised when a company you work with or work for starts leveraging a lot more AI. And I'll go. And so AI wars, they have definitely begun, especially between Google and OpenAI. But you're going to see a lot of companies coming out with a lot of stuff. It is really, really hard to keep on top of it all. I'm literally putting a section of my Maven course just about how to keep track of what's happening in AI without your brain exploding, because that has honestly been one of my hardest challenges over the last 6 months. And then there's other super cool stuff coming out too. And like you're going to see big updates to ChatGPT. Like don't expect a GPT-5 for a long time, but expect major upgrades with like there was a new feature called Code Interpreter. You could literally upload a spreadsheet and it'll turn it into graphs. It's super cool. It's not perfect, but it's super cool. Google's Bard is also really, really getting much better than it was before. So you want to like try these different things, but there's going to be other areas beyond text that will be big. And this is my AI generated assistant here making music, but you're going to see a lot in AI music, AI art, AI video, and AI sound. And you're already seeing both like super amazing things and scary things, but these things are all going to be happening. And so I always say like be prepared and keep on top of it so that you can be ahead of the curve on those things. So that's the near term. Very quickly, I want to look into the crystal ball and talk a little bit about the longer term. One, AI assistants. I honestly believe in about 5 years, everyone can and should have an AI assistant that's like on top of the things. I know you can't really hear this one, but I will send this video. And essentially, this person at TED this year debuted an AI assistant that like lives right here. You can see right on his shirt pocket, and it can scan things and it can give opinions to a person about like, should you be eating this? What is your dietary restrictions? You're going to get to a point in the next, I think, few years where an AI assistant is going to be with you all the time and be assisting you in daily life. I think that will be one of the big frontiers that autonomous agents will really be able to help us with. And things that we used to take time thinking about or doing will go by the wayside. As long as you're able, like you're willing to embrace like this new world. And it is a crazy new world that is coming really rapidly for sure. So that's one thing I'm expecting to see really quickly. Another one is just more automation of the rote tasks that we've been doing for years. I'm seeing it with call centers happening already. I'm seeing it with a lot of other things where AI has become good enough for what I call structured tasks. So if you want to know what kinds of tasks will and will not be automated by AI, structured tasks are the ones that will be automated by AI. What do I mean by that? Those are kinds of tasks and areas that have really predefined rules. Legal is one where there's really defined rules of what is and isn't legal. And so basic contracts for sure. When you talk about advanced law cases, that is not structured. That will be less automated. Accounting, very, very structured, very standardized rules, easy for AI to help automate. What can AI not automate as well? Creative writing. So like like writers in the writer's room who are striking right now, for example, that is harder for AI to write an incredible script. It can write a basic script for a reality TV show, but it cannot write an advanced script like Severance yet. Maybe it can eventually, but it's not as good at that unstructured task. Opinion writing also falls into that kind of area as well. So when you're trying to think of like, could AI eventually do this, or is it already doing this? Think like, does this thing have structure and rules that AI could go and follow? Programming is another one where AI is probably going to be automating that really heavily, even more sooner than later. I am definitely seeing developers really worried about their long-term careers because AI codes really, really well. You could build an entire game on your own with just ChatGPT and an app called Replit. And I could teach you today if I want to, how to do that. And then, yes, like if jobs are going to become an issue, we're going to be having longer conversations about society. Universal basic income will be a topic that will come up a lot over the next 5 years. You will see it in the news a lot to the point of being sick. Point is, there's going to be a transition. Some of it will be rough, but I do firmly believe it will end up in a better world. I use the exact image that Midjourney made for me because it doesn't do words correctly. Just to remind you all that AI is not perfect. AI does not do everything. It does things incredibly well. Also very interesting to see what AI thought a perfect world looked like. It looks like going back to the 1750s in the mountain remote somewhere in Europe is apparently what AI thinks the perfect world would look like. But, lastly, a couple key tools I think you should look at if you're not already using. Tone for presentations. This is actually what I'm using this presentation for. It helped generate this presentation partially automatically. You can type in a prompt. It writes text automatically. ChatGPT Pro, of course, not just the regular ChatGPT, but ChatGPT Pro. It comes with the web browser plugin soon where it could literally connect to the internet like Bard. I can see the back and forth in the chat. Midjourney is my favorite of all the AI image generation tools. Stability AI, Stable Diffusion is also really good. But Midjourney is for sure the best. And then there's existing tools like Grammarly or Notion. They have amazing AI tools. Notion AI, you could literally put, I saw a friend put a bunch of like names into a thing, and then it automatically wrote out who those people were and like how to talk to them and how to pitch them. Ridiculous stuff you could do as you dive deeper into your AI journey. And I know I went through a lot of stuff and I probably went over time, but you want to dive deeper. I have a course that I'm going to be teaching starting in June about how to build an AI native company. I'm going to be covering all this stuff in depth. I have my newsletter. I'm easy to find at Ben Parr on every social network. Ben at Ben Parr if you want to just directly email me. And then just, there's my link in bio. It has links to everything else, my book, all sorts of other stuff. With that, I will say thank you. Happy to answer questions. Sorry if I went over.
Right. And now through the magic of ChatGPT and Descript and AugX and a whole bunch of other things, we're going to snip this video up and we'll put every title of every AI program that was mentioned, and we'll have it done within 10 minutes of the meeting.
Good. AugX is awesome. I'm an advisor. They are awesome. You should try them out. They turn text into video. If you haven't tried it, it's super cool.
Yeah. Yep. And AugX actually did our instructional video on our website with a little human help. But what I'm finding now, Ben, is like AI wars, chatbot wars is happening on my machine. So I have a Chrome extension called Merlin. Like Merlin's just in my face, like every minute, summarizing the website before I get to it, so I don't have to get to it. Then I have Grammarly, not just correcting my grammar anymore, but asking me shorter, longer, more assertive voice. But I did do the Writers Guild test yesterday. It was in the newsletter where I asked it to tell jokes in the forum, and I didn't print all of it. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Bill Maher. It was surprisingly good. Wasn't great, but it knew the difference between those styles enough for me to recognize it because I was really sick of reruns. And it's a problem. The Writers Guild are like a litmus test for all of us.
The writer's strike is going to be a big story. I'm actually doing a panel with a couple of the major showrunners here. I live in LA. I'm going to be doing one soon. I think the writer's strike is a very interesting one because it comes probably at a very good time for them where now they know how powerful AI can be, but the studios haven't had time to figure out how to use it to replace more writers. But I had a very frank conversation 2 nights ago with one of the top showrunners in the country. And his words to me were that, yeah, they got to fight. They got to like get as much as possible in this negotiation. But he still expects that there will be half the amount of writers in a writer's room within the next 5 to 10 years, because AI will be writing first drafts of so many things. And